It indicates the military had a plan to wipe out this whole population.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, where we'll be looking at decisions with the most catastrophic consequences made over the last decade.
The shock felt by millions of American women underscores what could be a new reality in this country. Zero federal protections for this kind of medical care.
Number 10, the Brexit referendum.
As voting day draws closer, Remain is still predicted to win. But the polls are narrowing, and Boris is beginning to catch up with his old rival, David Cameron.
The European Union is one of the largest trade unions in the world. In the 2015 UK election, Tory politician David Cameron promised a vote to decide if Britain should leave the EU. Even though it wasn't legally binding, Leave won by a small margin, and Britain eventually left in 2020.
The Brexit vote has also polarized Britain, driving a wedge between the older generation and the young, who mainly voted to stay in the EU.
Most of the younger generation voted to stay, and I think it just kind of shows that there's a real difference, and our future's kind of been taken away.
Since then, the UK has experienced a serious economic decline and cost of living crisis. Brexit isn't the sole factor, but it's a huge contributor. The majority of polls show a higher proportion of UK citizens believe it was a mistake, and some even wish to rejoin. But that's unlikely to happen soon.
The British people have spoken, and the answer is, we're out.
Number 9. Bolsonaro's deforestation.
While scientists continue to sound the alarm, people on the ground, like Father Edalberto Senna, have for years been a thorn in the side of agribusiness and, more recently, the Bolsonaro government.
Between 2019 and 2023, Jair Bolsonaro was president of Brazil. He quickly became one of their most controversial presidents ever, and a huge factor was his eagerness to destroy the Amazon rainforest. Under his administration, deforestation reached alarming levels. He stripped protections from indigenous lands and threatened to worsen the situation if foreign funding stopped.
Scientists insist that the Amazon is vital for countering greenhouse gases responsible for climate change. But President-elect Jair Bolsonaro questions its very existence.
This felt like he was essentially holding the rainforest hostage. By the end of his term, some regions of the Amazon were emitting more carbon than they stored. His successor is way more environmentally friendly, but unfortunately, many conservationists worry the damage is irreparable.
Still, thousands of kilometers from the seat of government, the powerful timber lobby has pinned all its hopes on the new president. This region is long known as the Brazilian Wild West. Santo Antônio de Matupi.
Number 8. Boeing 737 MAX crisis.
We had been writing about how, going back nearly a decade, Boeing had designed the MAX from the start to not require additional simulator training for pilots.
It's one of the largest plane manufacturers in the world, but in recent years it's become increasingly competitive with rival Airbus. This led to the 737 MAX disaster. Boeing prioritized competition over safety by hiding details of its new automated maneuvering system from pilots to reduce training costs.
If you're going to give us a system that we are going to be affected by, it's hugely important that we get briefed on what it is.
The first 737 MAX planes flew in 2016, but their reputation took a major hit after 2 crashes in 2018 and 2019. In both flights, all passengers tragically died. The planes were subsequently grounded, and Boeing lost billions because of the incident. After corrections to the system were made, the planes were brought back into service by the end of 2021. However, many anxious flyers still get fearful when they see they're boarding a 737 MAX.
They had submitted over 1,200 service difficulty reports. That's a technical problem. That's a flight control issue. That's something that's flight safety related.
Number 7. U.S. exits Paris Agreement.
Trump says the cuts will save trillions for the U.S. Treasury, but climate scientists say the cuts will actually cost the U.S. government jobs.
The Paris Agreement was signed in 2016 and aims to mitigate climate change. It's been signed by 195 countries, but after Donald Trump became America's president, he didn't hesitate to pull out.
He's making it harder for Americans to actually withstand the climate impacts that we know are here and that we know we need to prepare for in the coming years.
The Green Climate Fund lost $3 billion in U.S. funding, and climate research took a huge hit. Trump has long pushed the idea that global warming is a hoax. The fact that one of the world's leading powers isn't taking the climate crisis seriously is harrowing. Fortunately for Trump, the worst consequences won't be realized for several decades.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Pittsburgh's mayor responding.
Every major American city in the past 24 hours has decided if Washington's not going to do it, we will.
Number 6, the Philippines drug war.
Anybody ever held to account for these murders?
No.
Never.
Until now, no. No, that's the sad thing about it.
Some countries, like Portugal, have humane ways of dealing with substance abuse, believing destigmatization encourages victims to seek help. Others, like the Philippines, have much more outrageous ways of curing these issues. From 2016 onwards, Filipino President Rodrigo Duterte began encouraging people to take the war on drugs into their own hands.
If you resist, and it is a violent one, placing in jeopardy the lives of my policemen, you are free to kill the idiots. That is my order to you.
This included advising citizens to murder people with substance abuse disorder in the streets. The majority of the victims come from poverty, and it's considered a major human rights violation by Amnesty International. In March 2025, Duterte was arrested and brought to The Hague as a result of his crimes against humanity.
Mr. Duterte immediately bared the names of politicians, policemen, government officials, and judges accused of being drug lords or their supporters. Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr. promptly surrendered.
Number 5, Roe v. Wade overturned.
The Supreme Court will announce their decision by early July. Until then, millions of Americans brace for what could be the end of their right to a personal freedom.
Are we going to stand for this?
When a person needs an abortion, if it's illegal, they may turn to shady places to get it done. Such procedures have no regulation, making them highly dangerous. As a result, a lot of countries have opted to legalize abortion, including America in 1973. This was Roe v. Wade, which made abortion a federally protected right. That was until 2022, when it was overturned.
States like Arkansas can now revive their pre-Roe bans through official enforcement or by filing court actions. However, not all states with pre-Roe bans are poised to enforce the laws.
This means abortion laws now vary widely depending on the state, with it being legal in places like California, but banned in states like Texas. Some states ban it entirely, even in horrific circumstances, making it feel like a step backwards for many.
It just stuns me. So extreme that doctors will be criminalized for fulfilling their duty. So extreme that women could be punished for protecting their health.
Number 4, China's treatment of the Uyghurs.
For Uyghurs, life under surveillance is no longer their only burden. Now they risk being sent to the camps at any time.
Xinjiang is a massive province in northwestern China and is home to the Uyghurs, a Muslim Turkic ethnic group. Tragically, the CCP is anything but kind to them. Since 2017, they've been moving Uyghurs into internment camps. Many consider it genocidal, and it's the world's largest movement of ethnic minorities since the Holocaust. The government denies any wrongdoing, but the International Criminal Court is unable to investigate, as China hasn't signed the treaty that would give the court jurisdiction there.
According to the police officer, he said that my brother had a sensitive book which was banned by the government. Impromptu kind of court hearing was held in the camp, and he was sentenced to 14 years.
The CCP heavily censors the topic, meaning most Chinese citizens are oblivious to the crisis. They've even released propaganda videos titled "Xinjiang is a Wonderful Land," while simultaneously claiming their measures are to counter terrorism in Xinjiang.
मुझे बहुत मारा जी, मेरा यहाँ जख्म है, देख सकते हैं आप लोग। मुझे पट्टों से उन्होंने मारा मुझे। अब ये काम मत करें, हमारे चाइना पाकिस्तान दोस्ती मत खराब करें। मैंने कहा यार मैं कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मेहरबानी करें।
Number 3, Rohingya Genocide.
Myanmar's commander-in-chief is Senior General Min Aung Hlaing. He has stated publicly that the country has no Rohingya race and referred to the campaign in northern Rakhine as unfinished business against Bengali immigrants.
One of the most disgusting crimes against humanity of the 21st century so far is taking place in Myanmar. Since 2016, Myanmar's armed forces have been systematically exterminating the Muslim Rohingya people. Before it began, 1.4 million Rohingya called Myanmar home. As of 2025, approximately 300,000 remain. Many fled to Bangladesh, where the world's largest refugee camp was established, housing almost 700,000 people. It's almost impossible to measure the destruction that's been caused. Tons of villages have been wiped out, and tens of thousands have died. As of 2025, it is still ongoing, but it doesn't seem to get the international backlash such atrocities deserve.
It has been largely overlooked that President Thein Sein considers most Rohingya illegal immigrants who should be deported.
Number 2. Netanyahu raising tensions with Iran.
Well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it launched the strike because of Iran's nuclear program poses a threat to the country's very survival.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spent over 30 years accusing Iran of developing nuclear bombs. In 1992, he said they were only 3 to 5 years away from having a nuclear weapon. In 2025, he is still saying they're only a year or two away. In June 2025, these accusations escalated to a full-on military strike.
Explosions were heard in the capital, Tehran, and at the Natanz nuclear facility, around 200 miles to the south. Several Iranian nuclear scientists and military commanders have been killed. Iran's state TV is reporting that civilians, including children, are among the dead.
This led to a brief conflict known as the 12-Day War, with both countries firing missiles at each other. Tensions have since ratcheted down, but if military superpowers like America are pulled into a war, the result could be devastating.
Now, in comparison, the strikes that Israel launched against Iran were far more devastating, but the mere fact that Iran was able to get any missiles into a neighborhood like this, so close to Tel Aviv, will be grasped as a propaganda win by a diminished Iranian regime.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. Invasion of Crimea and Ukraine.
Что я чувствую? Я не знаю, что чувствую. Ну, что чувствуют люди в таких ситуациях? Единственное, чтобы это закончилось, это все. Я не знаю, кто виноват, кто прав, кто это все развязал.
The war between Russia and Ukraine began in 2014, when Russia controversially annexed the Crimean Peninsula. A ceasefire was signed in February 2015, but it eventually escalated into a full-scale invasion by early 2022. The war is currently at a stalemate, with changes in front lines taking months.
Thousands are racing to get out of Kiev, lining up to board trains and buses that will take them out of the city.
It's uncertain how long Ukraine will hold out, as President Zelensky seeks aid from foreign powers. If Russia comes out on top, the rest of Europe should be fearful. Putin is an aggressive leader, and a victory may bolster his confidence, motivating him to invade other vulnerable nations.
Putin is a man who is used to winning and convinced he can outwit or outlast any opponent. He's been underestimated many times, but in Ukraine, he may have finally overestimated his leadership.
Which decision do you think had the most far-reaching consequences in the past 10 years? Let us know in the comments section.
His war on Ukraine, a shock of historic proportions, rallied many Russians behind him. Though, of course, not to show loyalty has become increasingly dangerous.